Scarlet Scarab. Scarlet Scarab is the name of two fictional characters appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics. Created by Roy Thomas, Archie Goodwin, and Frank Robbins, Abdul Faoul, the first Scarlet Scarab, made his first appearance in the Invaders 23 December 1977. The second Scarlet Scarab, Mehemet Faoul, was created by Doug Moench and Alan Kupperberg and made his debut in Thor 326 December 1982. Calamawy stars as Layla El-Faouly in the Marvel Cinematic Universe television series Moon Knight 2022, with the character becoming the Scarlet Scarab in its final episode. Publication history. According to Roy Thomas, the Scarlet Scarab, like the Silver Scarab in Infinity, Inc., was an homage to the Dan Garrett incarnation of the Blue Beetle about whom I had written my second professional comic story back in 1965. The creators of the Ruby Scarab were named Garrett and Dan. Abdul Faoul. The first Scarlet Scarab first appeared in the Invaders 23 December 1977 and was created by Roy Thomas, Archie Goodwin, and Frank Robbins. The character also appeared in the Invaders 25 February 1978. Mehemet Faoul. The second Scarlet Scarab first appeared in Thor 326 December 1982 and was created by Doug Moench and Alan Kupperberg. He received an entry in the original The Official Handbook of the Marvel Universe #9. Abdul Faoul. Abdul Faoul was a famous archaeologist during World War II. He unearthed the Ruby Scarab, an artifact that was originally created to battle the elementals around 3500 before Christ. When Dr. Faoul touched the mystical power object, he became the Scarlet Scarab and became a champion of Egypt during World War II. Dr. Faoul worked as a liaison between the Allied forces and the Egyptian government and led the Human Torch and Narrator recently excavated pyramid in search of the fanatic nationalist group, the Sons of the Scarab, which was actually led by Faoul. He trekked the heroes into opening the vault where the fist-sized ruby was kept. As the Scarlet Scarab, he first ousted the British and then the Nazis from Egypt. Following the war, the Scarlet Scarab continued to battle criminals until one day in the 1950s, the ruby simply disappeared. Dr. Faoul had not realized that the gem's crafter, a powerful pre-dynastic Egyptian sorcerer named Garrett, had placed an enchantment on it that it would return to Garrett's tomb whenever it had exhausted its store of mystical power. Faoul spent the next 20 years in search of the ruby, not realizing it had returned to where he had found it. Eventually, the elementals sent Hencounty, the living mummy, to fetch the ruby. The ruby changed hands a number of times after Encantu recovered it, going from the living monolith, a thief named Daniel the Aspen, the elementals, and an extra-dimensional traveler named Hecate. Meanwhile, Dr. Faoul continued searching until his death. As his dying act, he requested his son Mehemet to continue his quest. Mehemet Faoul. Mehemet received from his father the strongbox in which he had kept the Ruby Scarab. Inside was the costume he had worn as the Scarlet Scarab, a journal of his exploits, and a photo of the ruby. Mehemet considered it his duty to continue his father's quest, searching for years as his father had. Finally, Mehemet came to the gem's final resting place. Holding the ruby, he gained the powers of the Scarlet Scarab and set out to become Egypt's new champion. One of his goals was the protection of Egypt's priceless ancient artifacts. In one mission to recover some stolen artifacts, the Scarlet Scarab encountered Thor, who mistook his intentions, and the two fought to a standstill. Powers and abilities. Abdul and Mehemet have superhuman strength and durability, the ability to fly at high speeds, the ability to fire concussive bursts of mystical energy, and the ability to sap the power from others on contact. Abdul needed to maintain contact with the Scarab to use its power. Television. Calamawy stars in the Marvel Cinematic Universe television series Moon Knight 2022 as Layla El-Faouly, an archaeologist and adventurer who is Mark Spector's wife. El-Faouly's backstory is based on Marlene O'Rourke, Spector's wife in the comics, who was changed from Caucasian to Egyptian at the suggestion of lead director Mohamed Dyer, and is also the daughter of an archaeologist murdered by one of Spector's associates. El-Faouly becomes the Scarlet Scarab in the 6th episode, Gods and Monsters, after accepting to be the temporary avatar of the Egyptian goddess Taweret, with this name being confirmed by Marvel.com following the episode's release. Diab noted he had not connected her to that character from the comics, explaining, "Sometimes Marvel picks a name and then gives it to the character that is developed." He pointed out that at the moment she did not receive her powers from the Scarab, but ultimately felt what the character represented was more important than her name.